Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome.
Woo!
I'm tired.
Yeah, Nick Knack has had a long day today, from what I understand. Lots of running around.
Well, but, he's here now. He brought gifts. We will appreciate his gifts later.
Yes.
Yes. Donut.
Hawaiian
Donuts.
donuts.
Rice balls, as a matter of fact. Jellied rice balls.
Oh, God, please no. We're going to get yelled at.
But with that being said, Realm must be ecstatic because we watched the other 3 Persona 3 movies. So now we have seen Persona 1, Spring of Birth, Persona 2, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Night like Knights of the Old Republic, Persona 3
Falling down.
Falling down.
Yeah,
and then
down.
Persona 4
Spring of Rebirth.
I think it was Winter of Rebirth, wasn't it?
Spring.
Is it spring?
I think
Yeah.
it's
So they went spring to spring and didn't mention winter. That actually
Seki,
bothers
you
me a little
messed
bit.
up.
What?
It's Persona 3, 1, 3, 2,
Fuck
3,
you
3,
and shut up.
3, 4.
Y'all about to get kicked in the head. I refuse. So spring, summer, fall, and spring again.
No, actually, you were right originally.
Oh,
it
it's
is Winter
winter?
of Rebirth.
Wow.
I knew it was seasonal.
I had to go back. And,
I was gonna say that actually would
Okay, so it's Spring of Birth.
Yes.
Midsummer
Night's Dream.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Falling down.
Falling down and Winter of Rebirth.
Yeah,
I just
Winter of
say
Rebirth.
I don't appreciate the fact that the second movie was a Shakespeare reference.
I also don't appreciate the fact that I went to say, I was trying to talk to Nick Knack and I was like, night, and I meant to say something like Knights of the Round Table or like Camelot, but the first thing that came to my mind was Knights of the Old Republic, and I am not a Star Wars person.
I am proud.
Wow.
Also, coincidentally, Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake. I have no idea if it's going to be good or not. Please be good.
Which is incidentally why I thought that for Knights. But either way, I was going to say, my opinion on these movies would have actually decreased if they hadn't done all 4 seasons and I'd gotten like spring to spring. That actually would have pissed me off a little because they had a thing going. They were like spring, summer, fall. If that hadn't been winter, I would have been so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So we did actually technically watch the first movie back at the beginning of last season-ish.
Yeah.
Not at the
Yeah.
beginning, but like first couple months of last season. So we are mostly talking about 3 through 4 or 2 through 4 here, but we're gonna have to touch on 1 a little bit because it's kind of just one long storyline.
Yeah.
But I think with that being said, let's talk about animation quality first over the course of these movies. And we're not talking about 1. I think we all pretty much agreed that 1 had better fight scenes than anything else, but its fight scenes weren't amazing.
I thought its fight scenes were actually quite shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fight scenes were better than other things in the movie.
I thought it set its tone well
Slight.
better than the
Yeah.
fight scenes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I'm talking about animation quality, not tone. Oh my god, Nick Knack, catch up.
We'll get to we'll get there eventually.
But in movie number 2, the fight scene quality went comparatively through the roof.
2 through 4 were just much better
Yeah.
animation
Yeah.
quality. Or at least, I don't know if it's animation quality wise. I'd have to really sit there side by side them. But definitely as far as scene construction went, like, it didn't feel like it was shot to the head, Persona comes out, fight's over.
Yeah, the fights seemed a little bit more organized and unified. Like, you could actually follow them better, and there was, like, actual movement and shit. And I will say that, they did, like, this CG end boss in movie number 4, and, it was incredibly unnerving and unnatural, and that worked so perfectly for the tone of the fight. So, like, 10 out of 10. I actually really liked the way that boss looked, because it moved like something not of this world, you know?
Just while we're still talking about production, I do want to comment, and the Persona 3 soundtrack's fucking amazing.
Yes. Yes, I'm glad I'm not the only one alone in this one. But honestly, all the Persona soundtracks are great, regardless of
They're
which
all
game.
pretty good, but
Look, I don't know about you two, but I just, in movies, I have more trouble finding soundtracks in movies than I do in TV shows. And outside of, like, the opening and ending songs that played, I really could not differentiate anything other than, like,
yeah, but you're tone deaf. Fuck you.
fuck right off. You're not any better.
Excuse me, I sang a Broadway production in my car on the way here.
So did I. Doesn't mean it was good. Look, anyone can sing Hamilton. Doesn't mean you're good.
Not Hamilton. Mermaid Sisters.
My respect for you has decreased exponentially.
I also sang a little Hamilton.
Okay. Restored. Hamilton is by far not the best Broadway musical, but it's certainly a good one.
Mermaid Sisters isn't even a Broadway musical.
Oh my god, you fucked hard. Anyways.
So real quick. So I do actually have some things to say. So my original opinion on the animation quality still stands. I still think it's pretty bad in comparison to like what the game did with its like art style anyway. But the one thing that the movie I think does better is using shadows and lighting, at least overall, than the game. So I think the shadows and lighting was pretty well done, and like what I believe Nick Nack had said, or maybe it was Seki, I can't really remember, but the scene composition was a lot better.
Well,
I noticed.
If you play the game, is it just like one of those games where you're just like choosing things, or can you actually like move around in game with the
It depends on the version.
It depends on the version.
Okay,
but
so
I'm going to talk about the one where you can actually move around.
well, hang on then. Okay, so if this was the version where you're just picking options, right? Like one of those things,
yes.
Then yes, obviously they've improved.
Yes.
But I think at the same time, with games where you can like actively move around in the world, like turn left and right, adjust your camera angle and stuff like that, those are always going to be really, really detailed as compared to a movie.
Just tell you, I didn't notice the light and showering until pretty much like movie 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's more something I noticed, is that scene composition was a lot better and the shadows, but I still personally prefer the old like animation from some of the cutscenes from the game. But
that's what I was gonna say, is you're probably comparing it to the animated in-game cutscenes.
Yes, that's what I'm actually comparing it to.
If I were smart, I would have gone and watched some of those after watching the movies, but I forgot about those.
Yeah, because there's not as many of them as there is just the gameplay. So I'm comparing something that's a little bit more sparse in the actual game in comparison to this is just a fully animated like set piece. So yeah.
When was this game made?
Like 2000 like
4,
something like that.
Oh yeah, now I understand reason why it's
see
like that.
Vorn understands, because you just have to look at really old games and get why it's kind of not a clear-cut question.
Look, the oldest game I know is Kirby Super Ultra Star on the DS.
Okay, then go back and look at Spyro's old game and compare it to the current remake. I'm sure you'll see the difference there.
Or like really, really old original Doom.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Okay, but we can move on to this from this topic now.
One day there will be a dedicated video of us showing Seki old games and giving Seki an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So annoying.
We never did give our ratings though.
Oh, we did
Oh,
not.
Okay.
That's because Realm keeps trying to get us to move on because he wants to tell us all of the stuff we missed.
Because normally we do it at the beginning,
Well,
and
yes.
we jump into animation.
Yes.
On Seki's idea. Your fault, Seki.
Who's going first?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it exactly like Seki is going to do it, but it's like movies all together and then each other, like
Individually.
yeah, individually. Shit.
All right.
For like individually, and then overall, meh. If you watch them all together,
Okay.
like, or if they at least like made it as like one just giant ass thing. Just
And
like-
keep in mind, of course, all of us, except for Realm, have previously rated movie number 1 as shit.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll follow up Vorn since he mentioned to me, but I have the same kind of thing. So movie number 2 was really bad. Shit. Not because of the movie, but because of where I thought they cut off movie 1 and 2. 3 and 4, I'd give a meh. 4 would have been an approval until the last 7 minutes of the film.
All right.
Then you just lost me. As a whole, like context. I sent the boys a 6.5 hour video where someone had just edited all the movies together into like one long video that was like 6.5 hours, and I watched that cut because I didn't want to go find 3 separate listings for these 3 different movies. And as a 6.5 hour video, I think I could give it an approved. On the knowledge that it is based on a game, and watching all 4 in succession, I can see where the game mechanics were, and I could see what they're trying, the things they're trying to do, like stylistically. And I can see that there is a story. But the story for me only works in the context of 6.5 hours of straight watching. So approved as one unit, but not approved as individual movies for me.
I guess I will go next. As stated earlier, I gave movie 1 a shit. I thought the pacing was bad, the animation and production was bad, the story was incomprehensible.
There was no story.
There is a story, you just don't get to hear it in movie number 1.
Movie 2, I think, fixed a lot of issues, but after the flaws that movie 1 introduced in its initial pacing, it made it really hard to get invested in movie 2, so I'm kind of at a meh for movie 2. Movie 3 is the one I would give an approved, partially because I feel like out of all the movies, it's the best paced, and it doesn't get bogged down in its story as much as the other ones do, whereas the other ones, you can have extensive scenes with only exposition. Movie 3 let the characters actually sit and breathe. Movie 4, I think the beginning's kind of rough. It's a lot of characters just moping, so it gets a meh from me. But I have a lot of respect for how well adapted the ending was.
Those 7 minutes were like the breaking point for you and me. Like, you liked those 7 minutes. I absolutely did not.
I didn't like it. But my God, if that wasn't early 2000s JRPGs.
Oh yeah, you're basing your ending based you're basing your ending based on your knowledge of JRPGs because you understand like all the context of those early JRPGs.
Honestly, if that level of respect happened through the entire series, I'd give it an ooh. But I think on the whole, I give it a meh.
All right.
Wait, just wondering, the egg in like movie 4 was
Well,
that like?
Let's get to that when
Let's get to that when we get
No,
to
no,
that.
no. I just want to talk about animation. Was that like a game kind of animation, or was that animation?
I don't
That was
remember if
animation,
that was-
animation.
I think
Because I
that
know
was-
what the
That
egg
looks
looks like.
so fucking crap to me. I'm just sorry, but nope.
All right. So, all right, we'll go with my ratings next. So, interestingly, now that I have this bit of context and I've seen all these movies together, and we're essentially going based on this rating system, I'm going to go back and change my initial rating of the first movie from a meh to a shit. Yes.
Ah, finally, you have seen the light.
Yes.
And you got on my case for bullying him into a meh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Catch the end of the episode for a retroactive update to our scores from season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So, now that I have more of the context to the rest of the series, and yeah, so that's a shit. That's going down to a shit from a meh. 2 is gonna stay a meh for me, mainly because I felt like they didn't do some things right. Like, they didn't add a lot of the context, or there was just some things where I'm thinking about, like, oh, I know this, but it's not explained clearly to the audience if you haven't played the game before. So I really feel like even though that this movie does like a better job of like giving a bit more of the exposition that was needed, it doesn't give you everything. And in fairness, that's also kind of because this is condensing 60 to 80 hours of a game down to one.
I'm sorry. Nick Nack just threw his phone after he got a notification.
I like how I was over here like surreptitiously muting my notifications mid-talking, and Nick Nack was just like, ding, throw.
This bitch empty. Yeet!
Yeah, yeet!
Sorry to interrupt you with my comic relief, Raul.
Alright. So, but yeah, the main failure of this movie is it tries to condense a 60 to 80 hour JRPG into a sixth of its total like playtime and runtime.
6 hours and 29 minutes exactly, including all of the credits and openings.
Yes. So that's the main failure, so it can't really give you all the exposition you really need and all the context that you really need. So for that, I give 2 a meh, and by extension, I give 3 a meh as well, because it does give more, but I still feel not enough. 3, I'm going to give the final movie, I'm going to give an approved, mainly just because, for me at least, that ending still hits me to this day, because I still like that ending. I'm with Nick Nack on this one. That's mine, and as a whole, I'm actually going to give this trilogy or this whatever you call 4 movies in a row.
Series.
Yeah, the series. I'm going to actually give this overall a meh. I really don't feel like it does this does this game series justice.
Catch Knick-Knack having to do like 3 extra calculations at the end of this season to account for the way that we've all
no,
scored
we're just
this.
doing this one and we're not retroactively going back on 2. So I just want to interject here because I want to be clear. My brand of terrible taste is different from Realm's brand of terrible taste. Realm would give the ending, and like the ending, the 7 minutes that Seki would give a shit, Realm would give it an approved. I would give it an ooh woo.
Yeah.
And Vorn gives it a meh!
Yeah.
Woo!
Wait, actually, maybe before I'm changing that to a math, not shit. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Either way, we'll be back to talk about a story for the movies realm.
It's
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.